Today is a good one on the Dating with Katy podcast. I'm very excited about it. We're at podcast number 98, so you can tell I've been saving the hard stuff for later. And next podcast, I'm just giving you a heads up, is on kissing. So that one's going to end really sweet. And then I'm transitioning into a different style of podcasting. And I might be changing my name. Instead of Dating with Katy, it might be Relationships with Katy. But we will see, coming soon. We are talking about none other than porn. And if you listened to last week's podcast, which was about the mandemic, where are all the quality men, you would have loved it. I re-listened to it. It was great. A lot of men on YouTube listened to it. A lot of red-pilled men. It's hilarious. Every pseudo, the new red-pilled man is the old feminist, right? So these guys are just cranky and bitter. If you go check out my YouTube, and I encourage you to do so, you'll want to watch that podcast because the comments are just exactly what I was talking about. It's just proved my point, like, where are all the quality men? Of course, I can't be quality because these women aren't quality. I can't be quality because these women are 170 pounds. Okay, bro, show me your six-pack abs. This one guy's like, he was a total 80%er. He's like, I would never have to hold to those standards. I'm like, of course you wouldn't, because you're an 80%er. So if you're in my 20% club, you get it, go read the comments. They're hilarious. And I write some things back like, look, you want to act like a boy, man, boy, go ahead. But obviously your mom never taught you, so I'll take a minute and help you out in the game of life. But either way. So I have to give a couple of the comments that these guys wrote. And I love it because their YouTube names are just like incognito. They must have this club where they all create pseudo-names and they're all acronyms for something stupid. But one of them, his name is at SG, capital SG dash lowercase DG 601 OI. I don't even know what it was. And half of them can't spell. Their punctuation is hideous. Even if they have a photo, or if they have a photo, it's weird. So I take it with a grain of salt. My husband and I were laughing, but this one guy says, but she never answered the question, where did the real men go? Which I thought was, at least this guy had a point to his statement. You can go read all the stupid statements, which is funny because if any of these guys actually followed me, they know that I also call women out. And I did a podcast already, episode 68, on where are all the good men, which ironically, that one has thousands of views, also from red-pilled men stating how incorrect I am, which again proves the point. So go take a read at that. There was one guy who actually knew what he was talking about. He wrote, she's calling all the simps to the front of the line. There it is. He's correct. I'm calling all the simps out and they know it and they're whining about it. And I just hear babies crying in the background. All right. So I want to start with debunking some of the myths about porn and dating. And really, it's not about dating, porn in any relationship, right? Because dating is just a precursor to what you usually want next. And so I'm going to give you some, philosophies that people share with me. Well, Katy, this is why porn is good. Yeah, but isn't it normal? And we're going to say, no, it's not. We're going to tell you why. And I'm going to specifically share with you women how to help you have the strength, the courage, and what to say to guys about their porn usage. And how soon do we bring it up? So I'm going to address kind of all these things today. So I'm going to, one, call out people who are watching porn. And women are watching porn as well. I know it's this new thing where women are just as annoyed with men and they're like, I'll find happiness for myself with my fingers, with my toys. And really that's, what men have been saying and that's why they're doing it. But if you're using porn, this is especially important to you because you can only expect a standard of what you hold yourself to. So I want to start with that premise. If you are doing porn, then you can either hold yourself accountable first and you can't be mad at other people who are doing it, or you can talk about it and decide what's the usage, how does it look for you, what are you comfortable with. Look, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I know there is a huge amount of women. As a matter of fact, in the very end, I'm going to share with you the percentage of women who hate porn. You will be shocked because a lot of them will say it's no big deal, I'm fine with it. These women are lying because when I took a poll, it was not that as the answer. So I'm here for you ladies right now. How do I navigate this, Katy? And because I don't want it. As a matter of fact, I have a buddy down the street and he said, Katy, I did a first date video Zoom with a girl. She lived in another state, but in my state, I can't seem to find anybody who wants to date a guy like me. And so I had really good luck in another state once. And so I was like, well, go for it. I obviously dated out of state and it worked out well for me. So he's on a video date with this woman. And in that first date, she says, so do you watch porn? She threw it out just like that. So do you watch porn? And I wouldn't recommend throwing it out quite like that, but I think the deeper answer, what she was looking for is, number one, are you honest? And number two, are you to be trusted? She's obviously coming from a place of hurt, coming from a place where men have hurt her in that way. Porn has become an issue in past relationships. And now, sadly, this guy has to deal with the ramifications of that and her hurts. So ladies, make sure you get clear of your trauma. But at the same time, I absolutely understand why she would want to know. Like, I'm not jumping into this. I had a buddy the other day. It took him 2 dates to figure out this woman was a vegan. I'm like, what were you doing on date one? Drinking liquor? Like, how did you not know she was a vegan on date one? Like, this should be something important to her. And if living with a man and being with a man eventually and marrying a man eventually who does not look at porn is important to you, you need to bring that up, ladies. I'm not exactly sure when. I would probably recommend that you not get in a serious relationship until you talk about that. So between, I always say 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. So by 3 months, you need to ask that hard question. And if you can't ask that hard question, then that means you're really not in a space of trust. And you might just be holding on to this guy because he's cute or he's fun or whatnot, your reason being. But really, it all boils down to, number one, what do you stand for? So if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. And I'm just seeing that in politics right now. People, I'm always like, what are the policies you stand for? Well, I'm voting for you know what because she's black and she's a female. That's like me saying I'm voting for Trump because he's white. Stupid thinking. People who don't have standards will fall for everything. So number one, I want to make sure that you have your standard on porn. Write that down in your standards list. Men, write that down in your standards list. How do you stand? You will not be looking at porn. You will be choosing women. You'll be choosing self-control. Ladies, what will you put up with? You yourself will not be looking at it, and you will not put up with a man who chooses that over you. Write it in your standards list. And then number two, you want to align with those people. That's why we have to go write it in our standards list, because way too often we start to, even like this girlfriend of mine, she says, well, I didn't even like Hillary Clinton and what she stood for, but she was a woman, so I aligned with her. Like, stupid thinking. Stupid. Well, this guy's fun over here, Katy, so I'm just going to spend my time with him. Stupid thinking. And 20%ers don't think stupid. So you guys, make sure that you are getting in alignment with people. If you're not a vegan and you're not liberal, don't get in alignment and do life with someone who is. It's probably not going to work out well. All right. Well, let's get to this first question. Well, it's a statement. People say, well, Katy, porn is normal. That's a lie. Porn is not normal. Porn is becoming normal. And sadly, we normalize porn. But porn is not normal. It's a sick, twisted perversion is what it is. I'm calling it for what it is. There's no kid who grows up on career day saying, I want to grow up and be a porn star. And if they do, it's because they got demonic parents. They're living in a disgusting house. Bad things are happening to them as a kid. So we can say the root of porn, there is nothing good that comes from porn. And if there's nothing good, the fruit of that is going to be nothing good, period. So we really need to make sure, it's innocent. No, it's not. Because there's human trafficking involved. There's hearts at stake. There's female lives that are brainwashed. They're drugged up, to be able to do this. And there's a great Instagram star, and he is now a born-again Christian, and he did porn. And I forget his Instagram, but if you guys know it, put it in the title below. It's not normal. And here's the thing: even if people want to say it's normal, it's not right. That's how we make decisions, you guys. We have moral values. And I'm going to say this on piggybacking on my mandemic issue. Morals and manhood go hand in hand. Let me say that again. Morals and manhood go hand in hand. And morals and womanhood go hand in hand. But oftentimes we see that women are the leaders in the morals, and we're lacking men with morals these days. And we women allow it. We allow our children to misbehave. Yes, we have that authority over our kids. We're with them more often. If you've been a mother, I've been a mother. I've raised 3 kids. These men are working full time. Sometimes we get to be home with the kids. It is your obligation as women to raise moral, valued kids. Heck, they shouldn't even be interrupting you. I taught my kids the interrupt rule. But when it comes back to porn, it's this idea that where there is no need for something, there is no effort put in. And I'm all about effort. So ladies, that's why you're not seeing effort from men, because they actually no longer, the truth is that men used to need to seek you out for that kind of pleasure, but they don't need you anymore, right? They have porn. So they become lazy. There's no effort. They don't have to get emotional with you. They don't have to connect. They don't have to invest financially. They don't have to invest their time. They don't have to invest physically. because they can go get it over here cheap and easy. And we've allowed it. So sadly, even though the issue is men, typically men, I'm going to say porn mostly started with men. Playboy magazine, there wasn't a whole lot of people buying Playgirl magazine back in the day. But it started, and if there was, it probably wasn't women. We know. So let's be honest about that. We have to say the issue is the men needing it, but the other part is the women allowing it and giving it to them. And so I really want to make sure that we understand it's not normal, it's not okay, and there's a moral basis behind it, because men need to seek out women for that priority, for that beauty, for that gift in their life, and we have given it to them for free. We have allowed that. We have decided my toes make me so much money, my photos of this, I'm just going to pop it on. And it's hard because it's usually about money, and it's about women being financially independent that will do that. Or for a moment of fame. Like, these people don't even get paid much in porn, and I think they're doing it for a moment of fame. They're doing it for a deep need in their heart, which, number one, no man can ever fulfill, ladies. Not even your best husband. He will be your best partner, he will be your best friend, but he will never fulfill every need in your heart. So remember that. And now, guys, I'm not sure how this totally relates to you, but you are the issue. The reason we have porn most often is because of men. And so I want to ask you to rise up and be a man who doesn't need that. Don't be a boy man. Be a man with morals, because manhood and morals go hand in hand. So be that guy, hold other men accountable, get in a man group somewhere. And ladies, that's how you're going to know. You're not going to ask on a first date, so do you watch porn? That's a lot. First off, most people won't be honest enough to give that truth of, well, yeah, sometimes. I mean, it would be great if somebody was that honest in the beginning. But that's kind of a personal issue. People say, well, it's personal. It's never personal if it's going to affect other people, and eventually will affect a relationship. So she had a right to know, but maybe not in that season. And they weren't exclusive yet. So before you go exclusive, I'd start asking those harder questions. But we have to ask, is it really going to be something we want to put up with? Because I can tell you what, I'd rather be single than have to put up with a man who looks at porn. That's just my take. If you're fine with it, then you're fine with it. And, I'd challenge you on that, and I'm going to talk a list of reasons why porn is just not good, period. But let's go to another lie. And it's good in some situations, Katy, right? It's good. It's good for partners. It's good for exploration. It's good for understanding. But I'm going to say that's a lie as well. Some people will say it's good because I'm single and I got to release, Katy. Well, here's the lie about that. And ladies, this is why we ask men to not engage in porn, is that because if he can't control himself there, he won't control himself even when he's in a relationship. So porn is that temptation line of, well, it'll just meet my need right now, right? And eventually that same mentality can come into play in a relationship. Well, my wife is pregnant, or my wife gained a little weight, or my woman is not really meeting my needs. So this will meet my needs for right now, so I'll go do that instead. And that is the danger of finding a man who has not submitted himself to self-control. And that is why a man who doesn't look at porn is going to be way better to date, because he understands that just because you feel it doesn't mean you should do it. Just because you need it, and I put need in air quotes here, doesn't mean you should do it, right? There is a propriety and a morality to saying no to these things. And there's also a learned self-control that is going to be needed in situations in life. So temptations are going to come. People will be traveling. And this is the same for you, ladies, learning how to say no to temptation. There you go. Porn is a great way to say no. And just because no one's watching, that's even more dangerous. God is watching all the time. So if you don't know, I'm a believer, and you will always be watched and held accountable. So if you don't think anybody saw you here on earth, you will be held accountable later. So we are not just living for this standard here. And ultimately, porn will become an addiction. So just a little bit. Well, it's just a little bit. We only do it every once in a while. I only do it, when I need it. And, I bought a couple toys so I don't have to touch myself, like disassociating with it. Or the fact that you can't even finish with a real person because you're so used to your hand. Sometimes that happens. I know a lot of guys, they're so used to their hand that they can't even finish with women. And it's sad, because she knows that she's no longer needed. She's not useful. So ladies, if you've ever been with a man who just kind of had to finish with his hand, it's because he watched porn all the time, hands down. And so he always was used to finishing with his hand. And how does that make you feel as a woman? Not very great, right? That is not how sex is made to function. And again, all of this is just lust. It's selfish. It's sex. It's not love. There's no emotions. And so let's go into the deeper question here. And then I'm going to end with some of the questions that I asked on my Instagram. I looked online and, again, people have different points of view, but I'm going to read this. There's quite a bit, but I think it's a good point because porn creates unrealistic expectations. And that's usually the common theme, right? Women are like, what the heck? I don't look like that. Men, I can guarantee you don't look like porn stars either. So unless you probably have 6-pack abs and you know what, dang-a-langers, like it's probably not your reality. So the idea of the pressure on the partner, insecurities about your body, looking at theirs and being unsatisfied, comparing yourself to a video of actors who are probably coked up on cocaine. How sad is that? Like, you are creation and you are perfect to God and you're perfect to your partner. At least you should be if you're in a healthy relationship. Male partners wanting women to imitate that junk. Like, here, let me just eat junk food and become it. No thanks. You are what you ingest. So it creates unrealistic body expectations, erection expectations, noise expectations, 100%. Wondering, are you good enough? What about porn leads to reduced empathy in relationships, reduced communication? It creates this woman who is just supposed to meet my need for these guys. It just cheapens all the intimacy that sex cheapens intimacy, which was created for lovemaking. And I think that's where you need to differentiate this. Everything about porn, no matter how pretty they make it or candles in the background or I don't know, whatever they do to make it like floaty and lovey, it's just cheap. It's cheap and easy, guys. And anything that's worth value is going to be hard work. And my girlfriend and I, we have this thing, the way to feel good is to do hard things. I mean, I think that's a David Goggins thing here. But he's right. So stop playing with yourself. Stop touching yourself. And you know what? Stop listening to some of these Instagram gurus. I've listened to one, Sex with Emily. I've heard her say, go have sex every day. Who cares with? It doesn't matter who it's with. That is the worst piece of advice. It's trash. Okay. Then there's this other guru, Kiminami, and she's like 3-hour sex sessions, I'm like, are these women living in La La Land? By the way, neither one is married. Neither one has kids. Like, look at these gurus, these spiritual leaders, and start asking the question, show me the family, show me your life, show me your reality, and is it joyful? Is it good? Is it healthy? Are you in right relationships with people around you? Because I got to ask, all these relationship gurus, I just met one, I met his ex-wife this weekend, and a big relationship guru, woo, right? Telling everybody how to date, telling everybody what to do. He was a super cheater on her. Like, who is this man? Like, millions of followers. Yet again, we must be careful who we're getting our intel from. So porn uses ideology. It has sexual scripts that are unrealistic in real life. I mean, if you've just had a kid and you're in a marriage, like, this is not going to work. Maybe on a vacation when a woman is like relaxed and you've listened to my romantic podcast, you've done everything I said, not just one candle, but you lit 17. Porn makes people impatient. Right here, right now, I'm going to go hide out in my car and do it. I mean, disgustingly, I've had friends who they were in public places and these guys are playing with themselves. It is disgusting. It dulls a man's edge, alters his brain chemistry. It leads to less sex, less realistic emotional sex. And we have to be careful with AI now. It's all becoming 3D. It's sickening. And so porn is never good. I don't care what people have to say to me. You can fight me all day long, but I don't know any woman who's like, yeah, let's just have porn all the time in our marriage. No, said no one ever. Let's just have porn in our relationship. Let's just bring it in right away so I know where he stands. As a matter of fact, I took a poll from my Instagram and I asked these questions. And this is what people said. So let me get to it. So the first question I asked was, and this is just the warm up here. Again, this is how it all starts because it becomes an addiction, but it has to start somewhere. Is looking at a cute, sexy person of the opposite sex, is it natural? So it's okay. Is it natural, but not okay in front of my partner? Or is it natural, but you should curb it with discipline? So 11% of you said it's natural. It's okay. Just do it whenever. That is so rude. Like that must be the few 80%ers that I have that follow me. Then here's the shady part, right? It's secret. And anything that's secret it needs to be brought to the light, because in light, there's freedom. When we are truly honest, there's freedom in that. So people think, oh, there's freedom when I can hide these things. No, you know you're lying. So 24% said, it's okay, but as long as I don't do it in front of my partner. That's shady right there. They are not to be trusted. And that's going to ruin a relationship. 65% of you said it's natural, which it is, but you curb it with discipline. So you don't do a second look. You can see someone who's good looking and you look away. Or you don't even need to look. You just stay right there, focused on your partner. The next question I asked is, porn is ... Never okay. Okay if needed, but the partner doesn't know. Okay if it's between the couple, and okay no matter what. Well, let's start with okay no matter what. 13% of people said it's okay no matter what. Again, I'm they follow me. Hopefully they'll get some morals on this one. They'll fight me. That's fine. 31% said it's okay if it's between a couple. Now I'm going to share with you in just a minute why it's not okay between a couple. 5% of you said it's okay if it's needed, but just don't tell your partner. Shady. And then 52% of you said it's never okay. So good job on that. We need that even higher, guys. So the next one, and let me tell you the numbers on that. Never okay was 114 votes. Okay, no matter what was 28 votes. Okay, between a couple was 68 votes. And okay, but don't tell the partner was 10 votes. All right, so if you believe that masturbation, porn, and strip clubs are okay, then should you tell your partner when you're going to be doing them? If you're going to be going to a strip club, going to watch porn. 19% of you said it's not their business. Well, it absolutely is their business. If you're in a good, healthy relationship, it's 100%. Every single thing you do is your partner's business. So if you want to be in a great relationship, keep that in mind. Say 16% of you said, no, I wouldn't tell them because they'd be hurt. Okay, so you already know they'd be hurt. 19% plus 16% already tells me 33% of you know that you shouldn't be doing it because it's going to be hurtful. 66% said, yes, my partner's good with it. Now that is a lie, because interestingly enough, when I asked the next question, and this was for ladies, I asked the question, how do you really feel about men and their porn behaviors? So 8% of women said, I think it helps us be closer. 8%. 18% of women said, I say yes, but I actually honestly hate it. Okay. And then 74% of women said porn, etc., has never bettered us. So when we do the math on that, 92% of women hate it. So men, I don't know if these women are lying to you, and ladies, I'm going to call you out. Stop lying to men. Tell them you hate porn and you have a standard that will not put up with it. So I'm going to ask you right now to go to your standards list that I've asked you to create and write that down. Hold these men accountable to greatness. And that's the irony, is that porn will never lead you to greatness. So all these men want to be big dogs and alpha males. You're not going to become an alpha male with that kind of secret darkness that you're holding. I mean, it might for a while, like, oh, he's doing great, he's successful. Eventually, that light's going to come out. There's going to be a light shining on that darkness eventually, and the truth will come out. Your marriage will dissolve, your relationship will dissolve, your kids will be disgusted by you. Ladies, this will happen too. You're going to get caught. Maybe your kid comes up. Who knows? I'm saying let's stay away. Let's just stay away. We know that when the cat got curious, it died, right? Curiosity killed that cat. So let's not even go there. Let's hold up to godly principles and morals, and let's do what God has, what's best for us. I always say that, is this God's best for you? Like, I had to ask myself that a couple of times, even in my relationships. And then you might have to readjust. I've had to break up. I've had to ask for better standards from my current husband. When we were dating, I was like, this is not working for me. I shared it in why we stopped having sex. Like, this isn't God's best. So not engaging in porn, not engaging in these practices of sexual deviancy is going to make your life better and those around you better. So I want to encourage you guys with that. Next week, we'll be talking about kissing. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but if you have a kissing story, send it to me. And don't forget, go check out my YouTube, subscribe, you guys, get in my database. I always forget that part, but I feel like you know that by now. And I always appreciate it. Love you guys. Until next week, let's make dating great again.